What is up, guys? My name is Sid Corrigan, and we are back on F1 24 Career Mode. We are a rookie at Haas, trying to successfully navigate our way through our rookie season. We did have a lot of success last week at Jeddah. If you haven't seen that episode, go check it out first. But we did manage a 5th place finish in our very first race. Picked up a big 10 points for the team. And we beat our teammate. So a lot of positives came out of the last week's race. Right now we're just picking up an engine power upgrade. And that engine power is the reason we got a 5th place in Jeddah, as we're the second best engine in F1 right now. It's like Hulkenberg's weight reduction upgrade is on successfully, as is our front downforce upgrade.
Parts have been fabricated and we're going to have them with us for the next Grand Prix.
So we have a couple minor upgrades that have successfully gone on the car. And our contract performance is going well so far. We'll try to keep that going. Still the worst team on the grid by car performance. So I don't know how well we'll be able to do in Japan, but we'll see what we can do. And one of Hulkenberg's upgrades fail.
I'm afraid to say that we've had a major issue on the production line earlier this week, and the entire development package for the weekend has failed. Any redevelopments will need to be ordered from the R&D screen.
Unfortunately, that was a weight reduction upgrade, so we'll go ahead and repurchase that. One of the better upgrades you can get. So we'll take care of that one for Hulk. But that's going to leave us low on resource points, so we're just going to keep the time flowing here. And our engine power upgrade has failed now as well, so our good run of form, at least in the engineering department, seems to have ended. Haas really needs some quality control improvement, so we'll redo the engine power upgrade. That's going to leave us even lower on resource points, and even more behind the 8 ball heading into Japan. And with the recognition there, we got the secret upgrade, and I think that's the equivalent of a facility upgrade.
Okay, mate, I know we were expecting some new developments to come through, but I'm afraid to say that some of them have failed quality control. We're going to need to tell the team what to redevelop via the R&D screen.
And another failure. Which one was this? It was the gearbox reliability, so we're going to leave that one alone. We'll let Hulk pay for that one. And we'll head into the Japanese Grand Prix weekend. So we finished the practice programs. We got ourselves 300 more resource points. That puts us to 483. We used the first practice to get a setup that I think we can be happy with. Got a little more experience with our rating. And now we're a whopping 66 rated. Gotta start somewhere, I guess. We've got some goals going with our specialists. Let's see what those are real quick. Fewer than 3 corner cut warnings and or penalties. I think we should be able to do that. And our strategist wants us to earn 5 points this weekend, which actually is kind of asking a lot. As we take a look at this screen, you'll see why. Even with the few upgrades we just completed, we are still dead last in the development chart. But let's see what we can afford with our practice program points. We're going to go with the tire wear upgrade. I don't know if tire wear is as big of a deal as it was on F1 23, but if it is, this is a massive upgrade that we can do. It'll really help us in the races. Looks like we're just about even with V-Carb. And a little bit behind Alpine in the development race. I don't know why they made Haas Ferrari red though. They should have made them white like last year. Let's head into qualifying.
Right, the car's ready. Let's get it out there.
All right, let's head out for our first lap now. Coming out of the Casio Triangle and onto the main straight and starting our lap. DRS open heading into the first corner. A little bit of understeer coming out of the first corner. Heading into the S section now. On our way to Dunlop. Managed to keep it flat out. Into Degner 1 now. Completely flat. Into Degner 2. Down to 3rd. Little lockup cost us a little bit of time. But we're still up on our first lap. Into the hairpin. You really just have to chuck it into the hairpin in this game. And that's how you gain the most time. Pretty good exit now as we head towards Spoon Curve. On the exit of Spoon, I'm running a little bit low on battery. Down towards 130R now. Completely flat through 130R. Into the Casio Triangle now. Little lock up. But we managed to keep the speed up okay. Got a decent exit. Over the line. Puts us up to 6th with a 129.9. Which is good enough to see us through into Q2 in 11th. And Verstappen has a 5-place grid penalty up in 1st at the moment. Not sure what he got the penalty for. Parts are impeding or what? Let's head into Q2. So we're only going to get one run on Q2 on new tires. So we waited till the end when the track was at its best. Heading down the main straight towards the first corner. We run a little bit wide on exit, and we're down on our used tire run, which is not a promising start to the lap. We'll try to make up for it in the S section. A little tentative through Dunlop, nearly 3/10 down on our used lap. Flat through Degner 1. Tried 4th gear in Degner 2 this time, and it was a little bit smoother. Picked up a lot of time there. Into the hairpin. Lock it up and throw it through. Little wiggle on exit. 2/10 up on our used tire run now as we head towards Spoon Curve. Under a 10th up now. Weren't great through Spoon. We drifted a little bit wide and felt like we had to wait a long time to get back on full power. Flat through 130R. Into the Casio Triangle now. Good over the first curb. Take a lot of curb on the second one, trying to gain as much time as we can.
30 seconds left in the session.
Over the line, and it's only a 130.4. Only good enough for 11th. And we weren't able to match what we did in Q1. With a 129.9, we'd have been in 7th or 8th. So our inability to put a good enough lap together has cost us. It's really disappointing as I felt like we really could have made Q3 in that session. As we get an update to our rating. Our pace gets a boost even though I felt like we struggled with it a bit in that session. But we do have a good starting position in P11. Let's head to the race weekend.
Welcome along then to the magnificent Suzuka International Circuit, a stone's throw away from Ise Bay in the beautiful Japanese countryside. What surprises lie in wait for us today at the Japanese Grand Prix? 18 corners make up a lap of the incredible figure-of-8 Suzuka circuit, with 10 to the right and 8 to the left, for a distance of 3.6 miles. Average lap speeds around here are fairly quick. If it stays dry, then expect somewhere in the region of 136 miles per hour. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. What a qualifying yesterday for George Russell. He'll start today's race from pole position. And Fernando Alonso completes the front row. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Sainz, Perez, Norris, Verstappen, Leclerc, Oscar Piastri, Albon, Zhou, Haas, Bottas, Hamilton, Gasly, Stroll, Ocon, Hulkenberg, Tsunoda, Sargent, and Daniel Ricciardo fills the last spot on the grid. Now it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
After the points finished last race, let's aim to keep that momentum going.
So Verstappen did manage to qualify in 1st, but that 5-place grid penalties put him down to 6th. as we decide how much fuel to put in, and we're going to go with the medium hard strategy. Head to the formation lap now. Definitely need to practice my race starts a little bit. It's getting a little too much wheel spin in the second phase of the launch. Try to get our tires up to temperature here.
Okay, so our system checks are good. We need to stay in formation and start bringing the car up to temperature, please. Get some load into the tyres and work the brakes. We want them nice and warm by the end of this lap.
A little bit harder to get the brake temperature and tire temperature correct this year, as you can't just brake drag on the formation lap. We do a couple burnouts to get the rear tire temperature up for the launch.
Okay, good parking there, mate. Now we need to make sure we get a great launch as the race starts.
Not the best parking, but we'll take it. And the 5 red lights. The Japanese Grand Prix is underway. We get a much better launch than Albin in the Williams. As we try to go around the outside, we touch the grass, but we do manage to get past. Heading into the first corner, and Albin makes contact with us and pushes us off wide. We cut back in, and there's more contact between us and Albin. And we go over the curb, and it still looks like it's 3 wide. We're gonna have to back out, otherwise we risked a major incident. So let's see what happened on the replay. And Albin gets forced out wide, which forces us out wide and off the track. And then there was even more contact, which made us lose the back end a little bit and lost a bit of momentum. And we end up losing a place down to 12th with Hamilton coming through. Luckily, we were able to get through that with no damage. So the race is still on. We just lost a position as we use a little bit of battery to keep pace with Albin as we go through Degner 1 and now Degner 2. Into the hairpin, and we're gonna make a big dive up the inside. We get through on Albin. We're side by side with Hamilton through the hairpin. And we're not able to get through as there's even more contact. A little bit of tire banging as Hamilton had run wide.
Let's try and move forward.
And now we're gonna try to go through the outside through Spoon Curve. And Hamilton this time is the one that's forced to back out. And we're up to 10th. But on the exit of Spoon, Hamilton makes contact with our rear tire. We nearly lost the car, having to use a lot of battery now to keep Hamilton behind us as we head towards 130R. And now into the Casio Triangle towards the end of lap 1. We have Russell in first, who's pulled a decent gap. It looks more like Alonso in seconds under threat from Sainz in third than any of them being close to the Mercedes at the moment. The Silver Arrow looks like it has a lot of pace, at least on fresh mediums at the start of the race. As we harvest energy through the S section, where we're not under a lot of threat of being passed. As we exit Dunlop and head towards Degner 1, Albin is right on top of us, only 2/10ths back. As the top 9 head towards the hairpin, they've pulled quite a gap to myself in 10th, including Joe, who's doing a fantastic job up there in 8th, managing to hold Piastri off. Heading towards Spoon Curve now, as we take a look back at Albin behind us, the Williams is very close. We're gonna need to be good through Spoon here. Not a good exit as we drift real wide. And that's gonna give Albin a run on us as we head towards 130R. Albin gets a much better exit and is able to go all the way past us. And Hamilton's trying to get a run on us now through 130R as well. Side by side through 130R. And we bang tires with Hamilton through the Casio Triangle, but he has to back out of it. And we have to try to not lose touch with Albin ahead. We will be able to keep pace with DRS as we make sure Hamilton isn't close enough to make a dive on us. And Sainz is going to try to use the DRS to get past Alonso for second. He goes up the inside, but the Aston Martin had enough overspeed to hold him off. As we run a little bit wide out of the first corner again, we are struggling with that corner all weekend. We're going to have to keep pace with Albin. It's essential we stay in the DRS. Otherwise, Hamilton and Gasly are just going to fly past us on the main straight. As we head through Dunlop, Hamilton is all over the back of us. There's not a lot of places where you can make a move as it's a very narrow circuit. On the exit of Degner 2, we go underneath the overpass of the very unique figure of 8. We are keeping pace with Albin ahead. Into the Casio triangle on the end of lap 3, and we have a big lockup. We managed to keep it facing forward. We do get the DRS on Albin, who has a bit of a slide out of the final corner, turn 18.
Okay, so we're leading our teammate by 2.6 seconds.
We're dumping the rest of the battery with DRS. And we're through on Albin. We managed to get ourselves back up into P10, back up into the points. Albin's still right there, and looks like he might try around the outside, but he backs out of it. Through the S section now, and Russell still leads this race. Alonso is much closer to him this lap, as we have the top 5 of Russell, Alonso, Sainz, Norris, and Perez. Verstappen's all the way down in 7th, having originally qualified on pole but had a 5-place grid penalty, and he's lost another position down to 7th as we head through the Degners on lap 4. Albin is still close, but this is our best section of the track. It's where we pull the most gap to those behind us. As they come out of the hairpin, we're going to use some battery here to try to build a gap to Albin behind. As we head on to lap 5, Russell's under big pressure in the front of the field. Alonso pulls out of the slipstream with DRS. Side by side as we head towards the first corner, and Alonso is through into the lead. Our first lead change of the day goes to the Aston Martin. We're dumping all the battery we have, but Albin's got DRS. We give him a big squeeze, but Albin's aggressive and finds a way through, and we're dropped down to 11th.
Okay, we've lost a position. That's us down a place.
We're gonna have to do our best to harvest some battery here, as we used it all trying to keep Albin behind, but balance that without falling too far behind the Williams. We definitely don't have the pace that we had in Jeddah, and I'm still struggling with finding the best battery deployment method, but for now, we're just trying to keep pace with Albin.
Do your best to get past and get on with the race.
So we've been given an objective to get back past Albin, but we have 4 laps to do it in. Further ahead on the Exodus Spoon curve, Russell's getting anxious. He doesn't want to wait for the DRS. He is side by side with Alonso through 130R. Alonso just manages to stay ahead. Russell decides not to attack into the heavy braking zone of the Casio triangle, but instead he's going to wait till the main straight when he has DRS. Russell's in the slipstream. Russell fakes to the outside and dives to the inside of Alonso, but they're going to go side by side into the first corner. Full commitment from both drivers. We have a heck of a battle for the lead. Just behind the lead fight, we've got DRS on Albin. Albin goes defensive.
Yeah, really good job on hitting that target, mate.
And we're able to go around the outside and accomplish our objective. Back into the points. And that fight for the lead is continuing as they're still side by side through the S's. And Alonso's able to just pull ahead, heading into turn 6. And Alonso's able to fend off Russell as we need a good exit out of Spoon. We're going to go defensive as Albin's going to try to make a run on us here. We're side by side headed towards 130R. We're still side by side through 130R. We've managed to stay ahead. Albin tucks in behind. He's going to wait for another opportunity with DRS. This is a heck of a battle for the final point. And Hamilton's hanging around just behind, waiting for either one of us to make a mistake. We go defensive. And we're just able to fend Albin off. We managed to keep 10th place for the moment. Oh, we have a bit of a slide on exit. I'm actually not sure how Albin wasn't able to get past us on that straight, but we'll take it. Unfortunately, we're lacking a little bit of pace. And this battling with the Williams, we've dropped well off the back. Piastri in 9th. On the exit of Spoon, Piastri in the McLaren is chasing down Zhou in 8th place in the Kick Sauber. Piastri's going to try the outside as they head towards 130R. Side by side through 130R. Zhou's doing a good job of trying to fend off that much faster McLaren into the heavy braking zone of the Casio triangle. And Piastri squeezes ahead of Zhou. But the Kick Sauber's the one who got the DRS. As he tucks into the slipstream of the McLaren. He's going to go to the inside. Piastri gives him a big squeeze. But the Sauber's back up into 8th. A really good move by Zhou. And just behind the battle with Piastri, we have the fight for 11th and 12th between Hamilton and Albon. Hamilton's trying to go around the outside of the Williams, and the Mercedes manages to get through, up into 11th, right behind us. That battling between Albon and Hamilton has brought me a small 7/10 gap, which is actually the biggest gap we've had to 11th place all day, so we're going to try to take advantage of it.
Let's use that overtake button a bit more.
As we go through the Degners, Mark, I'm actually trying to save the battery for the back straight after Spoon, as that's where we've been attacked all day. End of lap 8 onto 9, and Russell's going to try to retake the lead on Alonso, who's led the last several laps. Russell goes to the inside. Alonso gives him the squeeze, but the Mercedes is through, showing just how powerful the DRS is here. As we head towards the hairpin, we're going to need a good exit here because Hamilton is all over us, less than 3/10 back. We're going to burn some battery to try to build some margin, but he's hanging right with us. And we're slow through Spoon again, and we get a snap of oversteer on the exit. We've just struggled through there the whole day. That's going to give Hamilton a run on us down the back straight. As we go up the inside into 130R, Hamilton is ahead going into the Casio triangle. A really good move by the Mercedes driver. Let's see if we can do to Hamilton what Zhou did to Piastri a few laps ago and re-overtake with DRS. We get into Hamilton's slipstream. We're going to use the battery. Hamilton goes defensive. And we do go all the way around the outside of Hamilton, back up into 10th. As we turn the ERS deploy to none, trying desperately to recharge the battery to defend against the much faster Mercedes. Lap 10, and Alonso still leads Russell and Sainz. Norris, Perez, and Leclerc round out the top 6, with Verstappen still down in 7th, having made no progress in this first stint. Into the hairpin, and we have a huge snap of oversteer on exit.
The grip levels are going to start falling away soon.
Wow, perfectly timed there, Mark. Thank you. As we're going to have to use some battery to try to stay ahead of Hamilton, headed towards Spoon again, as we're definitely starting to feel the tire wear. Our front tires are starting to approach 40%. As Hamilton's trying to make a move on us again down the back straight. This time he's on the inside of 130R. As we're side by side into the final chicane. We managed to go a bit deep, but we stay ahead. But that's going to give Hamilton the DRS on us this time. We're dumping all the battery we have. Hamilton pulls out of the slipstream. Tries the outside, but decides to back out of it as we hold on to 10th by a whisker for one more lap. As we are really starting to struggle now as the tires are falling off. Now I've just noticed ahead of us that Piastri has finally managed to overtake Zhou. But it's a little demoralizing to see such a huge gap from us to a Kick Sauber, who we dominated in Saudi Arabia. As we take a look back at Hamilton, who's just lurking there, waiting for us to make a mistake. Gonna use a little bit of battery on the exit of the hairpin. As we go through Spoon, Hamilton is right on top of us, and he pulls out of the slipstream. And we're gonna go side by side towards 130R, with Albon waiting right in the wings. Hamilton manages to make it through, but we're going to cut to the inside to defend from Albon and attack Hamilton. We managed to stay in front of Albon, heading onto the main straight.
Push now, we're boxing this lap. Okay, so we're leading our teammate by 2.5 seconds.
We dive to the inside of Hamilton with DRS. And we make it through into the first corner, recapturing 10th. As this back and forth battle continues lap after lap, as we're trying to recharge as much battery as we can at the moment. Oh, we touched the inside curb and nearly spun it.
Your lap times are all over the place right now. We've got to have consistency. Come on, we can do better than this.
Yeah, part of that is we have DRS every other lap. But an average lap time of 1:35.2 seems really slow to me. And I would really like to keep this point after fighting so hard for it. As we're on the exit of Spoon again, Hamilton attacking. Although this time he stays behind into 130R. Oh, we have a bit of a lockup, and he locks up as well as we head into the Castillo Triangle. It looked like he couldn't decide if he wanted to attack us into there or not, and he nearly hit us as he follows us into the pit.
Okay, forget the targets for now. We've got to focus on the pit stop.
As we really need a good pit stop here, as it'll be essential to staying ahead of Hamilton and Albon. As we nail the turn in, and the team does a bang-up job at changing the tires and gets us out quickly. We have managed to stay ahead of Hamilton, as we see Russell retakes the lead with Alonso going into the pits. It's strange that Russell stayed out, having been the lead Mercedes. You would think he wouldn't want to risk being undercut. On lap 14, Hamilton's going to attack us towards 130R again, as we seem to be lacking a lot of pace down this straight. As we pull back ahead right through 130R, heading into the Castillo Triangle, we have a big lockup. We managed to get it stopped though. As we head onto the main straight, we're dumping all the battery we have trying to stay ahead of the Mercedes. And I think that look says it all. He is right on top of us. We do manage to just stay ahead, but we're a bit like the cork in the bottle. As behind us, Hamilton, Albon, Stroll, Gasly, and Ocon are all well within a second of each other, as we are definitely struggling for pace in comparison to the first race. As now we get a rather ominous objective to watch our fuel.
Okay, we lost the position. Try to keep focus.
As Hamilton gets past us, and Albon had a nose inside in 130R. Through the Castillo Triangle now, we will have the DRS, but now we have to watch our fuel as well. As further ahead, we have a battle for the lead, but this time it's between Sainz and Russell, and the Ferrari takes over the lead for the first time in this race. Back to our POVs, we try to chase down Hamilton. The DRS, we're side by side into the first corner. He tries to hold it around the outside, but we're able to slip through. We used all of our battery to get that done. And as we head back towards Spoon Curve, Hamilton is on the attack again. And this entire race, we've been looking backwards, which is incredibly frustrating. And on the exit, Hamilton pulls out of the slipstream. And we're burning battery to try to stay side by side with the Mercedes. Side by side as we head through 130R. And the Mercedes gets the advantage and is through. And Albon tries to go past as well, but we're able to hold him off as we head onto the straight with DRS. Hamilton goes defensive, but this time we're through a lot easier, as we were able to stay a little bit closer that lap.
Good job, nice overtake.
And this race has fallen into a very familiar pattern of being overtaken and re-overtaking, as we just don't have the speed to pull away from these guys. We have another battle for the lead as Sainz squeezes past Russell and retakes first, as Alonso has somehow dropped down to 5th. I'm not sure if he had a bad stop or what, but That's unfortunate for the Aston Martin. Halfway through lap 18, we have about 8 laps left of the race and a little over a half a lap spare of fuel. We seem to be hemorrhaging fuel. I'm trying to save where I can, but I'm also trying to keep 10th place as we fought really hard for it over the course of this race. It's hard to save fuel when you're under constant attack. As Hamilton goes through again through 130R, as we dive to the inside. Oh, we lock up and go deep into the Casio triangle, but we do keep it on track. And we just managed to stay ahead as Hamilton had a big moment coming out of the chicane, and that's left him open to attack from Albon. Albon is through up into 11th, and Stroll gets through on Hamilton as well. And Hamilton is down 2 places, all the way down to 13th. I'm not sure what happened to him there, but it looked like he nearly hit the wall onto pit entry. And now we'll have the Williams of Albon attacking us, and the Aston Martin of Stroll. And on to lap 20, the seesaw battle between the Ferrari and the Mercedes continues as Sainz goes up the inside and retakes the lead for Ferrari. That might come down to who has DRS last, as we are now down to 0.4 over on fuel. We failed our fuel objective. It's going to be very close on if we make it till the end with enough fuel. I tried to do a lot of lift and coast last lap, as Albon was a bit further behind than he is now, as this has been a character building race. Trying to hold on to the last points paying position while trying to save enough fuel to make it till the end, while struggling for pace overall. I think the next time we're in Japan, I'm going to use a slightly lower wing, as we're fine if we have DRS in a straight line, but if we don't have DRS, we are very slow. As we head into Spoon, it's all about the exit if we want to stay ahead of Albon. And we have a big slide, full counter steer. Very nearly spun the car, and Albon is beside us already. I don't know how we didn't spin there. As we take another look at it from offboard, oh my, that was... wow. And now we're being swamped by all the cars behind. We have an Albon and Stroll to our right, and Hamilton tries to make it 3 wide into 130R. Luckily, he backed out of it, and we only lost 1 position to Albon. As we head through the Casio Triangle, we're gonna dump a lot of battery and open up the DRS. We're in the slipstream of Albon, and we're gonna squeeze around the outside of Albon to take the racing line, and we've regained 10th. It's quite a recovery after nearly binning it through Spoon. And after all that drama, things are as they were on the last lap. Luckily, we are able to recover quite a bit of battery through the S section, so we're able to burn a little bit and give ourselves a little bit of a gap. As we head into the hairpin, we're going to do a big lift and coast, as the fuel is reaching critical now. As we head down the back straight, Albon's able to get past us again, but we are able to keep Stroll behind us. And as we head out of the chicane onto the main straight, we don't get a very good exit, so we're gonna have to go to the inside to defend from Stroll and dump a lot of battery, trying to catch up to Albon. And we do manage to get past just before the first corner, so we'll be able to recharge through the S's again. It's essential that we're ahead of him, as there's no place for him to pass us here, and it's the only place we have to recharge. As I'm trying to do a little bit of short shifting to save fuel as well. It's going to be very close on if we can make it till the end or not. Unfortunately, myself and the team have got a lot of things wrong
0.5 seconds.
this race, including the setup and the fuel. As we watch Russell and the Mercedes getting very frustrated behind Sainz. Russell fakes to the outside. Russell goes up the inside into 130R. into the Casio triangle. Side by side, Leclerc is waiting for one of them to make a mistake that he can pounce on to move forward. It doesn't look like Russell got a very good exit, and Russell looks a little bit far back here to overtake. Leclerc is on the attack on Russell, but the order at the top stays as it was. As we pull out of the slipstream on Albon, and we're able to slip through on the inside into the first corner.
Okay, mate. Right, we've got a full battery, which means we can use more of it to gain performance. Let's go.
Thank you, Mark. I will be using it to overtake on the next lap. This is the exact same cycle we've been in for the last several laps. As actually we've done a personal best first sector, which is surprising, considering. As we do another big lift and coast into the hairpin. And another short shift, as we're barely a 0.2 above on fuel. As Albon is practically pushing us through Spoon Curve. The overspeed he gets on the exit is insane. He just blows right past us here. As Stroll's gonna try to follow him through, as we dump battery to try to stay even. Albon is through, and we're side by side with Stroll through 130R. As we head into the Casio triangle, we're gonna dive up the inside of Albon. Little bit of tire banging, as we are able to slip back past. And we have the DRS.
Gap to your teammate behind, 2.4 seconds. Great stuff, mate. You hit the target well there. Nice one. It's a long way to go in this race, though, so keep your head down.
So even with DRS and burning the battery down, we still weren't able to break the DRS to Albon. I was hoping we could break this cycle that we were in on lap after lap, but we weren't able to pull enough of a gap over a second to Albon, unfortunately. As we go flat out through turn 12, on our way to Spoon again, we do have a bigger gap than we had last lap. But Albon's still chasing us down. As we're burning battery to try to stay ahead, Albon looks like he's going to try a different tactic this time. Wait for the DRS zone and get in front of us before the S section. As we go through the Casio triangle, oh, we have a bit of a snap as we get on the power. Heading down the main straight. Albon's in the slipstream. We're going to go defensive, but we're running low on battery. And Albon is able to get by. So this time it's going to be our job to try to keep within a second of him. Good on him trying something different, as he easily could have passed us down the back straight as we try to recharge the battery and stay within a second of Albon. It creates another issue for us. I can't afford to lift and coast if I want to stay within the DRS of Albon. It was a very good tactic on his part, as I'm starting to feel the tire wear a little bit as we wag our tail out of the second Degner. We have a bit of a lockup into the hairpin. About half a second back of Albon now. And if he dumps his battery down the back straight, I'm not sure we can keep the DRS. Or he's hoping Stroll can attack us and slow us down just enough to get us outside of 1 second. Ahead of us, the battle continues heading into the penultimate lap. As Sainz still leads the race, but Russell is all over the back of him. And other than first and second changing positions, nobody 3 through 6, other than Alonso before the pit stop, has really changed positions. As Sainz stays on the racing line, but Russell goes up the inside, and the Mercedes has taken over the lead on the penultimate lap. As we're dumping our battery with DRS, try to go up the inside, but we fall just short. And Albon's able to stay ahead, and we're gonna run out of opportunities here soon to get back past. As we're harvesting as much battery as we can, with only a lap and a half left, and we're down to 0.06 on fuel. We're also very close on that. If we have to start really saving, we're definitely not going to catch Albon. We are decently close as we head through Degner 1 and 2, but this isn't where we're losing most of our time. As we head into the hairpin, we have a big lockup and go very deep, as Stroll has a sniff up the inside, but we managed to recover it okay and stay ahead of Stroll. But we're nearly 8/10 back of Albon, and we are dead even on fuel right now, which means we're gonna have to find a place to save a little bit and not fall out of the DRS of Albon here. But Stroll out of Spoon is gonna try to attack us around the outside, and we are right on the edge of DRS for Albon. And I think we were just able to hold on to it as Russell heads into the Casio triangle with Sainz just behind him. Sainz will have one more bite at DRS as we head onto the final lap. Can Russell keep him behind? Sainz pulls to the inside, and Russell's able to just stay ahead. He might have just bought himself his second career race win, and we were able to keep the DRS.
Final lap. Keep your concentration and let's bring it home.
We're gonna dump all of the battery trying to catch up to Albon here, but we are just way too far back, and we just didn't have enough battery. We'll harvest what we can here and do our best to get back into 10th, but right now it looks like Albon's gonna get it as we are negative now, 0.03 on fuel. So we're gonna have to find a place to save that small amount of fuel and get past Albon. And I'm not sure how we're gonna do that, but Albon is harvesting, and it's allowing us to get very close to him through the Degners. As our leaders come through the flat-out turn 12 towards Spoon Curve for one last trip through the double left. Russell still leads. Can Sainz make any kind of attack? As we head down the back straight, one more time in Suzuka. Looks like everybody's harvesting. But Sainz is very close as we head into the Casio triangle. He might have a chance into the heavy braking zone of the final chicane. But he doesn't make the move, and he's out of opportunities now. And Russell's gonna win his second career race with Sainz and Leclerc rounding out the podium. As we come through Spoon Curve now, right on the back of Albon. And it looks like Albon's completely out of battery, and we saved just enough. We're gonna fly on past the Williams, through 130R now, and into the Casio triangle. We are in low fuel mode, and Albon is only 1/10 back. As we head through the chicane, barely on fumes, we're gonna just reach the finish line in 10th, just ahead of Albon.
And that's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Ferme.
Wow, that was a finish. If the start-finish line had been a few more meters down the track, Albon would have re-overtaken us because we had no fuel left.
They've done it then, here at Suzuka. A brilliant win on the beloved figure-of-8 circuit.
I mean, it looked like they were in a different category at points during the race, led every lap. I mean, what more can we say?
He certainly didn't lead every lap. Just fact-checking.
Well, Mercedes are on top form once again after an excellent race weekend. It's great to see them up on that podium once again.
So really big win from Russell there. And now we've had two different winners in the first two races, which is pretty cool. Hopefully we have a good championship fight this year. So here's the race results. And yeah, our last race's winner, Verstappen, with that grid penalty, just couldn't move up the field at all as he finishes in 6th, and our teammate down in 17th. And in the driver's standings, the top 5 are covered by 8 points. That's a pretty good start to the season. And in the constructors, Red Bulls still lead, but only by 2 points over Ferrari, and our 11 points have us in 6th. As we get a nice boost to our rating, even though in all honesty, that race was a real struggle. We get another nice recognition boost, only 10% behind Hulkenberg now, as we've genuinely outperformed him in the first 2 races. And we get a couple of completed points towards our specialists. And that'll be it for the Japanese Grand Prix. But we have a little surprise coming up. Our very first secret meeting. Who's it with? And will we take it? Find out next week. That's all I got for now. Goodbye.